Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install Lua on a couple different Linux distributions. The first one that I'm going to go with here is the one that I use right now and that I'm going to be using for the rest of this tutorial series. It's my main distribution that I like to use, and that's of course Arch Linux. So I'm going to just be showing you basically how to install Lua on Arch Linux, and it's fairly simple. So get out your terminal. In my case, I'm using Kitty as a terminal, but this is GNOME. You can use whatever terminal emulator that you want. You can use, for example, with GNOME, if I just type in terminal, the first thing that pops up is console, which is the default GNOME terminal emulator. I am going to be using Kitty just because I prefer using Kitty. And so yeah, basically what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to type in sudo pacman -syu first, just to make sure that your system is updated. In my case, it's updated. So the next thing that you're going to want to do then is you're just going to want to install Lua, and that's pretty easy on Arch Linux. You just do sudo pacman -s Lua. And in my case, I already have it installed. But if in this place you would just say yes and then hit enter. I'm gonna go and say no because I already have it installed. But yeah, it's very easy to do this on Arch Linux. And so that's how you would install Lua on Arch Linux. The next thing that you're gonna want, of course, is a text editor so that you can actually edit some code. And in the previous video I showed how to install VSCode on Windows, which was fairly easy. You just go to the website and do it. On Arch Linux, it's a bit more tricky. There's a couple of different ways to do it. If you have the Yay package manager, you can install it with that. I believe there is some sort of AUR package. If I just go and Google it, VSCode AUR. Yeah, there is Visual Studio Code bin. So if I go here just for demonstration purposes and then do sudo yay -s Visual Studio Code bin, and make sure that you have Yay installed, of course, before you do this. So just hit enter on this, and in my case I'm not gonna do it this way because this installs the proprietary version of Visual Studio Code. I prefer it to have the open source version of Visual Studio Code on Linux, simply because it disables Microsoft's telemetry, and it's a lot more private, so you aren't having any kind of data being sent off somewhere to Microsoft or anything like that. And yeah, it's just, I prefer using the open source version, so I'm going to show you how to do that. And to install that, that's much easier than just, you know, using the AUR to install it, although the AUR is pretty nice. But you can just do it quite simply with sudo pacman -s code and go here. Now I already have code, so I'm not going to go and install it, but you can of course hit Y and then enter and install it, and so then it'll just download it for you, and then you will have, if you just go here, if you just type in code, this is the open source version, this is code OSS. You can see I'm in my Lua files folder already. And I already have the Lua extension installed. If you don't have it installed, then of course you go just here, just click here to extensions and then type in Lua, and then go here on this extension right here, made by some Nico, and then you just click install here, and there you go. Then you'll be pretty much ready to just, you know, make something in Lua. So if I go ahead and make a new file, call it hello.lua, for example, and then I go to the terminal here, and this is honestly where you should first test out if your previous installation of Lua actually worked, and to test that out you just type in Lua into the terminal, And if you get a sort of prompt like this where you can enter some code, you know, if I print out hello world here and I print it out, well, there you go. You've just made your first program in Lua. You have printed out hello world to the screen, and you have tested that it works. And so there you go. That's how you test it, and then you can just do Control-C to get out of that. But I'm just going to show you how to do it from a file. So I'm just going to do print hello world, and then go here to new terminal, and then of course you just do lua hello.lua, and there you go. It prints out hello world to the screen, and then that's your first Lua program on Arch Linux, and it's really that easy on Arch Linux. So next I'm going to be showing you how to do it on Debian, how to install all this stuff on Debian. Alright, so here is my Debian virtual machine, where I'm going to be showing you basically just how to install all this stuff on Debian. So let's just go ahead and do it. So to install Lua on Debian, you're just going to want to go to your terminal, and then you're going to want to do sudo apt install Lua. And as you can see, you have quite a few different choices you can choose. You have a couple of different packages here, and I'm just going to go ahead and install Lua 5.4 because it's the most recent version. And there you go, you've installed it. To test out that it works, you just type in Lua, and as you can see, it works fine. And let's just print out hello world just to test it, and there we go. We've printed out hello world and ran our first successful program in Lua on Debian Linux. So that's how you would do that on Debian. Now the next thing, of course, is to install a text editor. So just go here and then type in VSCode on Linux, and go down here where it says code.visualstudio.com, docs setup Linux. So this is basically the official website, and I will leave a link to this maybe down in the description. So the easiest way to do this on Debian and Ubuntu based distributions basically is to just download the .deb package. So click on that link and it'll download it, and then you'll have this in your downloads folder, and you can just go here. I am gonna go and just rename this to VSCode.deb to make it a bit easier for me. Okay, and then you go to your terminal, you're going to do cd downloads and then ls, and I believe you just do sudo apt install vscode.deb. Okay, wait, hang on, let me just go back to the instructions for a second here. /file.deb, yeah, okay. Yeah, alright, so then you have to just do that, and it will install it for you. And I hope this installed properly. Let me just check. Yeah, it did. Okay, and then you have several different choices between what theme you want and stuff like that. And then you can just go and install the Lua extension here. And as you'll see, this is a bit different than the previous one that I did on Arch Linux. This is actually the proprietary version of Visual Studio Code. What I installed before was the open source version. I just installed this on here because it's simpler in this case, I think, to install the proprietary version. But of course you can go and try and install code OSS if you want the open source version. I believe there is a snap, which you can use to install it. And yeah, I believe you just follow these instructions right here, and you can install the open source version instead if you prefer. But for demonstration purposes, I basically just did the proprietary version. The only difference, of course, being that there is a little bit more tracking and in the proprietary version, and that there are more extensions in the proprietary version. So yeah, if you want more extensions, then I would say go with the proprietary version. Otherwise, for the purposes of this tutorial series, either version will work fine, so don't worry about it too much. So yeah, that's it basically on Debian. And next I will do a tutorial on how to install it on Fedora. Alright, so here I am on my Fedora virtual machine, and I'm just going to go into my terminal, and basically I'm just going to go and install it, and first I'm going to go ahead and install Lua. So to install Lua on Fedora, you just do sudo dnf install and Lua. And if it's your first time using sudo, you might get this message here, which is fine. And we got a message here that Lua is already installed, so I'm just going to try and run it and see, and there we go. So as you can see, Lua is working. Let's just print out hello world as our first program, and there you go. You've just done your first program in Lua in Fedora Linux. Now the next thing, of course, is to install a text editor so we can actually write code just like we did before. So type in Visual Studio Code Linux, and then go here to this guide, and then go down to where it says RHEL, Fedora, and CentOS based distributions, and basically you just follow these instructions right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all of that, and let's see here. Let's go back to the terminal, and we're just going to do Control-Shift-V to paste all of this. And okay, hopefully that worked. Now let's just run these commands. Just copy paste these one at a time. Control-Shift-V. Just wait for this to be done. And then let us install the package. Just copy paste that. So again, Control-Shift-V. And then just hit Y there. And boom. It should go correctly if everything goes well. There we go, complete. So now let's just check that it's installed. Let's go back up here. Oh, go to search, code. There it is, Visual Studio Code. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. And again, you have to go here to the extensions and go to Lua, download this extension by some Nico, and hit install. And now you have everything that you need to get ready to write your first bit of Lua code. I am just going to open some random folder here. Let's just create one somewhere here. Just go to documents. Alright. Yes, I trust the authors. And now let us do our first Lua file. Let's just call it hello.lua. Go up here, click new terminal, and we will go and do print, and then hello world, and then do Control S to save it. And then go click on this terminal here and type in Lua hello.lua, and there you go. It prints out hello world for you. And so that is basically how you would install it on Fedora Linux. So yeah, thank you for watching my tutorial. I hope this helped if you're using Linux and you want to know how to install Lua and how to install Visual Studio Code to use with Lua. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.